So I just recently restarted collecting Game Boy games since I got a Game Boy Advance SP which I reshelled and I'm planning to install a EPS screen mode on, and I also got a Super Game Boy for my recently acquired Super Famicom. While I was looking for some games, I did notice that most of them are actually really overpriced online, and we all know that buying retro games online isn't the best idea, but I did actually find a way to get original copies of some of these games shipped to your door for cheap, and that way is called Japan. So today we'll talk about why and when should you import Game Boy games from Japan, and why I do actually suggest you do so if you're trying to build a Game Boy collection. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start from the basics. Every single Game Boy is region free, and that means that you can play any Game Boy game from any region on any console. And even though the label on the back of the Game Boy itself can say European or Japanese, the hardware on the inside is exactly the same. Just please don't use the Game Boy camera with a Game Boy Advance SP, and that's not a matter of region, that's a matter of upside down. Now, you can't get every Game Boy game from Japan for the simple reason that some of them are actually, well, in Japanese, and I wouldn't suggest you buy Pokemon games, for example, or games that actually need you to be able to read Japanese unless you speak Japanese. In that case, you're good. But here's the fact. Most of the games that you can actually import from Japan are fully in English, and the reason for this is that Nintendo only made one version of the ROM, which is called a international version, and that's the game that every single region got, the only difference being the label, which is different for every region, but the actual game board that you can find if you disassemble the cartridge is exactly the same. And a lot of games are actually like that. For example, all the Mario Land saga except Mario Land 2, which has a different title screen, but the rest of the game is actually the same. Tetris, Tennis, Dr. Mario, all of the Kirby games, all of these games are actually completely identical in every single region. They all are in English, and that's the kind of games I'm suggesting that you import from Japan, because you can get them for a lot cheaper. For example, this Dr. Mario copy that I have here, it was around $1 on eBay from Japan, while the exact same game in the European version goes for 10 times that. So I think you should actually consider importing at least part of your collection from Japan if you want to save some money and buy more games with that money. I actually found a great website which is a list of all the Game Boy games that have been dumped up to today, and if you look up for the term int in the search bar, you can actually see every single game that is an international game, and that means that if you get it from Japan, it's going to be in English. So yeah, that's a really useful tool for importing games. Also, bear in mind that some games are actually listed as Japanese, but they usually only have a Japanese title screen. For example, the aforementioned Mario Land 2, the rest of the game is in English, but it has this Japanese title screen, which is actually pretty cool. And that before buying a game, I will suggest you browse Reddit or some other forums where you can actually ask to someone which owns the Japanese copy if it is in English or not. That's something I used to do, and it does really help when trying to build a good collection for cheap. And also, if you own some Japanese games and you want to share your experience, you can talk about them here in the comments and actually tell us which games you own that are in English or that are fully Japanese and can't be understood. In my case, I can guarantee you that all the Mario Land saga and Tetris, Tennis, Dr. Mario, they are all completely playable and they are fully in English. Even though there is a peculiarity with the Tetris cartridge that I own, basically the first Japanese batch of this game did not have Korobe Iniki as theme A. And that means I've got a Tetris cartridge without the Tetris theme, which is pretty interesting, and I'm quite happy to have a oddity like that. It is not rare by any means, but it's cool. Anyway, I hope that this video will help you all when trying to build your own Game Boy collection, and Japanese games are actually a great deal for a lot of other region-free consoles too, and I wish more people knew about this because you can actually save a lot of money by buying them. And anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now.